Hey, how's it going, everybody? Pragmatic Addict here. So I'm super glad to have you guys here for this video. So really quickly before I do start, my neighbors are doing some shit with their house. I hope that it does not interfere too bad with the audio of this video, but regardless, I'm gonna do this review anyway because I cannot wait any longer to talk about The Whale. So this has been an incredibly anticipated film for a lot of us, myself included. Not only my most anticipated film for December or for the end of the year, but really for the year in general. This was always one of my most anticipated films of this year. And what I just want to say really quickly before I actually get into discussing this review is I want to thank everybody for checking out the last video that I did, the trailer Whale reaction. I said that shit backwards, didn't I? The Whale trailer reaction, trailer 2. It was one of my most successful videos I've ever done on the channel. And honestly, just a lot of the comments, man, it really felt like a community just getting together and, you know, celebrating this movie's release coming out. It seemed like we were all on the same page, all just, you know, getting ready to fucking just be each other's like support, you know, person, just emotional support, man. And I gotta say, so I did make the mistake of saying that this was looking like a heavy film, which somebody did point out. I didn't even like think about it at the time, like heavy film. Is that offensive? I didn't even think about it at that time, but this really is not an easy film to sit through. So, for those wondering, like, well, you know, what is the plot here? I will say this. I'll say the plot, but heads up, there's a lot that goes on in the movie here. As far as, like, the story elements go, there is a big variety, but for the centerpiece as far as the plot goes, so, yes, Brendan Fraser plays an obese recluse. He is at the end of his life. He's got like a few days left to live or so. He has a best friend played by Hung Chow, which I just want to say really quickly, the characters in here, they're incredible. There is only like a few characters in this movie, but there is a variety as far as their actual characteristics that really, you know, make this movie, like, this is one of those movies that feels very isolated, very reclusive, very minimal, but it does the best with all of that. It's that, like, quality over quantity kind of, you know, kind of like debate. But yes, Brendan Fraser plays this, you know, 600-pound or so recluse. He has his best friend played by Hung Chow, who is basically, you know, his caretaker in a sense. And Brendan Fraser, he also plays a teacher. He is an instructor that teaches online classes. And like, one thing like I was thinking about, like, with saying that was like, when I saw that, you know, like the way that he interacts as a teacher, you know, how it's all over like Zoom and everything, I was like, was this made during the pandemic? But honestly, either way, whether it, you know, was or wasn't, this was actually a perfect character like element for Brendan Fraser's character Charlie in this movie. You know, for example, he obviously, you know, can't go anywhere, so he has to kind of be, you know, put where he is. He has this excuse where he's like, you know, oh yeah, my camera doesn't work, like throughout the whole movie. None of the students have actually seen what he looks like. It's just like a black screen. So, you know, it was one of those things where I'm like, maybe they shot this during the pandemic and just did incredibly well with that, as far as like, you know, how they're gonna like incorporate it into this movie. But no, that is absolutely how this movie needed to be. There were so many traits to really all of the characters here that I was absolutely stunned by. But yes, you know, going forward with the plot, with me saying that there's like a lot that goes on here, this entire movie happens over the course of a few days. And, you know, during this time, Charlie, Brendan Fraser's character, he actually ends up reconnecting with his daughter, who he abandoned when she was 8 years old. Now, I'm not going to get into how everything unfolds, how all the characters come in and out, and, you know, how everything transpires in this film, but I will definitely be picking, you know, apart things that I do want to discuss in this movie, which, obviously, let's just get the elephant out of the room. I swear to God, that is not another weight joke. I feel like I'm going to be making that mistake a lot during this review. But, yes, let's get the elephant, you know, address the elephant in the room. Brendan Fraser. So, aside from Brendan Fraser, that was obviously like a lot of the buzz for this film, majority of it, if not all of it, but also the humanity of this film, at least, toward me, in my opinion. Even in like the trailers, it was saying that, the humanity of his character will floor you, and I kind of got that, coming from like an A24 Darren Aronofsky, film about this kind of a character. I was like, this movie's gonna be very minimal, but it is going to be heavy. Now, I am going to talk about both those things, Brendan Fraser and then the humanity of the film, but let's focus on Brendan Fraser. Yes, all the Oscar buzz that you're hearing, he is absolutely worth it. And it is not just, like one thing I do want to make extremely clear is that it is not just like, him portraying this character, with this obesity issue. I mean, if we are talking about that, yes, obviously the prosthetics, all the makeup, all the, the suit and the amount of gear that he had to wear for this film and its runtime, and especially being his biggest film in over a decade, yes, he absolutely does phenomenal with that. But also just Brendan Fraser's acting in general of this film. Again, there are a lot of layers to this film. I did it again, and Brendan Fraser crushes each performance, personality and characteristically wise. He crushes all of it. As this character struggling with grief and obesity, but also, being a teacher, also a struggling father. Now, I am going to get into all of the characters here and all their performances and everything without spoiling anything, but talking about the acting really quickly, the pureness and realism and humanity of it all, that is what's going to grab this movie. This isn't a big film as far as, cinema goes. Like, this is not a movie that you're gonna watch and really, critique and take in all the, cinematic flair, all the, different things that all the crew did. But, as far as a story goes, with, only a few characters, with only a few locations, if not more than one, that is what this movie gives, and that's what you're gonna take from it. And this film does incredible with that. And yes, this film is sad to watch. This is a very tough film to sit through. And obviously coming from a director, like Darren Aronofsky, who did, Mother and Requiem for a Dream, just to name a couple. I heard some talk about, some scenes in this film, some controversial subjects, which I will say this is a 2-hour film, and the opening here, we don't quite get another scene like that. But this film, again, coming from Darren Aronofsky, and especially, a student from A24, neither Darren Aronofsky or A24 is really known to really hold back. They go with all out with whatever the fuck they want to do and whatever the fuck they're going to show. And this film is one of those, films. This is a film about a very, subjective character and, the relationships that has caused to the people around him. But not only that, it is not just about, this character's, battle with obesity. It's about, what got him there and how he feels about that, the lifestyle that causes, not only with, being recluse and the limitations of, going through that, but the relationships that it causes with, those around you. And also, the character's psyche. Charlie, he has a lot of, thoughts about, mortality and, dying and everything, and, what this could actually, become of him. That's what I'm saying. This is such a minimal seeming film with very minimal characters, very minimal, amount of room and everything. And I gotta say that they really, knew what they were doing as far as crafting a character's study of this type of character. Now, going back to the characters and their performances, so I'm going to mention 3 characters in this film, aside from Charlie, that, I'm going to actually, talk about. And that is Hong Chau's character, Sadie Sink's character, and Ty Simpkins' character. So, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, how they do, a lot with what seems minimal is that there's only a few real, standing out characters in this film, but they're all vastly different. So Hong Chau plays Charlie's best friend, who plays, this kind of like protective, at the end of her rope, kind of like fed up, brutally honest, kind of savage person at times. She takes, no bullshit. She will tell it like it is, like, dude, you're not okay. You're fucking dying. You are gonna die. You're pissing me off. I am not going to help you if you're not going to let me help you. She's very that kind of, person, and I loved it. I loved that there was so much humanity to this film, which I said I would talk about. Going further with this humanity, so Sadie Sink plays the, daughter that is coming back into Brendan Fraser's character's life, which I'm not going to talk about her right off the bat because I do have some criticisms mostly toward her character. But Ty Simpkins, man. So this kid, Ty Simpkins has been in, many movies, big movies, Insidious, Jurassic World, but I thought that he was going to get, like, the least to work with in this film. I thought he was going to be, like, one of, like, the more, way off to the side characters, but goddamn, does this kid have a lot to work with in this film, and he crushes it. This kid's got some fucking chops on him. So, Ty Simpkins plays this, like, missionary kid who just kind of, like, falls into this situation. He just kind of, like, comes into the picture and is like, oh, hi, yeah, I'm just here to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, what do I do now that I am a part of this? And I just love that. I love how everybody came in and out of this picture and how they all delivered and what they were, here to do. Now, Sadie Sink's character, I will say, she did feel the most animated as far as, like, being a character portrayed in a fucking film goes. She had a lot of energy that a lot of times, what she says and what she does, I kind of, like, was rolling my eyes with a lot of things. I was just kind of like, okay, this is very cliche. I don't like you. I know that you're supposed to be a character, and I'm sympathizing with your character for who your character is, but goddamn, you are definitely in a movie. Now, I will say, her, character development with Ty Simpkins' character, their chemistry, I absolutely adored it. There is comedy in this film where I wouldn't say that it's like dark comedy or really unintentional comedy. This is a very psychological and emotional film, and was saying that a lot of psyche and a lot of emotions come out. And her character with Ty Simpkins, with their age groups, with how vastly different characters that they play in the movie, it was amazing. Also, going further with, like, the comedic stuff, again, Hong Chau, she plays this really just like, I'm at the end of my rope, I don't care if I need to say something to you, whether you're at your dying breath or not, I'm going to say that, I'm going to call you out on your shit. And sometimes it comes out where you're just like, okay, you're scaring me. All I can do is really laugh at this and feel uncomfortable. The film does very well with that. Again, as far as, Brendan Fraser and the humanity of this film goes, that's really where this film absolutely delivers on. This is not a perfect film. Again, as far as Sadie Sink's character goes, and especially in the last act, as far as, like, the pacing goes, and even some, like, character development, characters coming in and out, and, just how the last act kind of falls into place, I don't think that it was all that balanced, and I do think a lot of stuff, it was to the point where I'm like, okay, what is happening? I get that you're trying to get somewhere, and I see where you're trying to get to, but this movie is 2 hours, and we have, like, maybe 30 minutes or less left. You've been doing fine up to this point. Just do what you were doing. Like it's not something where, it took, some love or, some respect or positivity that I felt toward the film out. It did not do that at all, because this film is absolutely, as far as the Darren Aronofsky film goes, do I think it's his best film? I don't know. It's debatable. Do I think it is a great film from him? Fuck yes, and it is one of the best of the year. But the last act definitely feels like, before getting into the actual closer, the actual climax, it definitely feels like it, spent so much of the rest of the movie, literally the entirety of the rest of the movie up to this point, focusing on one thing, and then it was like, oh shit, it did great with that, but it was like, oh shit, well, we have to wrap this up. And I will say, the ending, the actual climax, as far as that goes, it does feel cinematic. It even gets suspenseful. It gets fucking raw. It feels like an actual ending that is necessary. Now, from, being a Darren Aronofsky film, this is, a very metaphorical film. This definitely does have some layers to it that you're going to have to, flesh out and kind of think about. Maybe get some more viewings before you fully, understand what he was going for in some degrees. But this is, everything that you're hearing about this film, which is probably, again, going to be Brendan Fraser's performance and the humanity. That is really what this film offers, and there's nothing wrong with that because it does incredible with that. So overall, guys, I am going to give The Whale an absolute positive review. This is one of my favorite films of the year. I don't know where I would rank it as far as like top 10 goes, but that's fine because that reminds me, this is going to be my last review of this year. Before getting to my next review, which will be Megan on like January 5th of 2023, in between this video and that one, I'm going to be focusing on a lot of year-end videos, you know, some top 10 worst, some top 10 best, some anticipated, and another one. So I will be obviously putting this somewhere in that top 10, you know, video. Do not miss this film. As far as the Oscar buzz goes, yeah, the Academy better not snub this one. But yes, guys, I will be wrapping it up here. Let me know what you guys thought about the review as well as The Whale once you guys have seen it. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic night. Take care.